welcome back to Simplify. This week we're going to take a look at simplifying our relationships. Now that doesn't mean we're going to have fewer relationships. It just means that we're going to find a way to make those complexities of our relationships more simple. So what does it take to make a complex relationship simple? God has provided some excellent guidance for us in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs is in the Old Testament part of the Bible, was written by one of the wisest men of the time, King Solomon. It's a collection of sayings that are about 1 or 2 sentences long, proverbs, that give us insight into who we are and how to relate with other people and even how to relate to God. They tell us what it means to be a child of God and how to honor God. So just for fun, as we're thinking about what a proverb is or isn't, I want to share some anti-proverbs. These were not things that King Solomon wrote, and nor are they things that are really helpful to us. But just listen to them for a moment. Every chance you get, speak perversely about others. Let evil and corrupt talk flow from your mouth. Oh, love stirs up conflict, but a good dose of hatred covers up all wrongs. Or how about this one? A gossip is a lovely person. Try to be untrustworthy at every turn. Or anxiety is great for the heart. Worry as much as you can. Or this last one, pay everyone back for what they do to you. No one believes that these things are really true, but in truth, these things happen. And in truth, all these things make relationships more strained and more complex and more difficult. We know this, but we also know that these things happen. And even though they are not the things we want guiding our lives, and even though they're not the things we want influencing us, we've all had those moments when we had that vengeful thought. We've all fallen into that moment when we've stirred up a little something, when we replied with a comment that was a little unnecessarily snide. We really don't want to live into being a fool or living foolishly. So how might we live differently? Again, go to Proverbs. There's a stockpile of insightful things that can shape our thoughts and attitudes towards others and can provide guidance for us in our relationships. But it isn't necessary for us to memorize all of them. Really, if you kind of sift through them all and boil them all down, they all point to 3 really main things. And the first one is this: trust God. The second one, care for others. And the third one, live as a person of peace. Trust God. Trust God to guide your relationship. Before you consider what to do, or even as you're considering what you should do, or how to think about a relationship, or how to approach a person, or what to say, trust God to give you a proper response. Take it to God in prayer, or just in quiet, or just in meditation, and just ask God to show you what you should say or do, or how to respond. Trust God that He will reveal that to you. And then care for others. If we genuinely care for and about others, the options for how we speak and how we act and what we do, they become very limited. Eliminated from that are revenge and hurt and anger and malice, and instead we're only left with what will help this person. How can I show love to this person? You don't have to worry about being angry or jealous, just how to love them. And when we're doing those 2 things, it leads us to the third thing, living as a person of peace. In the Gospel of Matthew, in the 5th chapter in verse 9, Jesus says this, He says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God." If we're people who are making peace with others, peace with ourselves, peace in our relationship with God, that's a marker that we're following Jesus. It's a marker that we're a child of God. It's a marker that we are living in a very simple love relationship with God. Now, I'm certain that there are many who are watching or listening to this right now who have had an experience of hurt and who have been wrongly accused, who maybe find themselves in at least one or two complex relationships. We've all been in that spot where we have experienced being wronged. But regardless of the level of pain, regardless of the level of hurt, regardless of how many times it's happened, Jesus' words to us are all the same: forgive. Forgiveness brings a heart of peace. Forgiveness brings the Proverbs, the wisdom of God, back into our lives. Forgiveness makes our lives simple again. There is no clearer path to stress-free relationships than forgiveness. So this week, you have an opportunity to trust God, to care for others, and to live as a person of peace. Where will you begin?